Hey, it's Country Boy Coots, and I'm at drinking at Moe's.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin' Mo's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're filling out your order, use the code Drinkin' at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Drinkin' at Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Because YouTube's algorithm is a pain in the ass. We are most places you can find audio podcasts too. So leave a review there. Today, I'm excited to have with me Country Boy Coots. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing? I just got out of the gym, actually.
Yeah, that's a never-evolving thing when it comes to wrestling. Always staying in shape. I can imagine. I know the bunch of people I know in the business, they're more times than I can count. Me, I probably need to get there a little more. But yeah, I can't complain. Me and my friend that hosts the My Two Cents portion of my podcast, we're actually going to a show for Sammy Callahan's promotion, Wrestling Revolver, coming up in like March 16th.
Where's it located?
It's going to be in Des Moines, Iowa.
Oh, okay.
Because, yeah, they kind of flip-flop for the most part between Des Moines and, I believe, Dayton, Ohio. And they've been sprinkling in, a handful of shows down in Texas now because, I mean, they got a handful of people from down there in Texas on their show.
Hey, ICP is having a show down there in Texas, and James Ellsworth is going to be in it.
It's been a while, but I do remember him. And you know what? Before we go into some thoughts I have there, because, I mean, I put together my notes. My dumb ass left them at work, so I had to redo them, but I remembered what I had on there. But the first thing I like to start off with everybody with, I like to try to keep it consistent and uniform, at least at the start. And that's what got you started as a fan, and then what got you finally deciding to make that leap into the business.
Okay, let's start from the very beginning. So when I was like 2 years old, so I was born in 97. When I was 2 years old, I remember watching on the TV the Rock and Stone Cold segment, cutting a promo. And that caught my attention. And ever since, I have been into wrestling. I don't watch it as much as I used to, but I'm telling you, I lived it. I watched it. I was trying to do crazy moonsaults off of my dresser in the bedroom on my bed. No, but so in June or July the 8th of 2022, I had came to a decision that I was going to go get my CDLs. Well, I had probably maybe an hour left before I went to my appointment. I was scrolling through Facebook and I seen this wrestling school. If it's FXC Wrestling Academy, it's in Hendersonville, Tennessee, by the way. I seen that and I called him up and they was like, "Can you come in so we can meet you today or tomorrow?" It was a Saturday. It was on Friday. They asked me to come in on Saturday. I said, "You know what?" I said, "I can come right now." They said, "Okay, come on." So I went up there, started training that night.
All right.
I started out. I was trained by Thomas Latimer. He's
Mm,
in the NWA right now. He was
yeah.
also, I think he was in TNA. I think he went by King of All Evil Brahm.
Okay. I'm wanting to say, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here. You would know after being trained by him. I'm wanting to say his name sounds familiar when it comes to Ring of Honor too. For some
Maybe.
reason, I like I said, I I could be wrong there. For some reason, that was popping in my head. But also, after damn near 220 recorded episodes as of this one, I'm like, sometimes my memory gets a little fuzzy. But that is awesome. You've got no hesitation and just jumped right in, because I know some people, it can be one of those things like they know certain aspects and they see, you know, people get hurt and then they're like, they kind of get a little hesitant. But,
Yeah.
you know, having your mind made up and just jumping right in, that is awesome. And, you know, the whole thing with the CDL, outside of wrestling, my grandpa, my late grandpa, actually at one point owned a trucking company, and he, uh, at one point, the town that he lived in, he owned about half of it at one point or another. Like, I kid you not, when it came to his funeral, the cemetery had this long dirt road leading up into it. People were parked like the entire length of that road to get in there.
Wow.
That was something. But getting into the brighter side of stuff, back into wrestling. I know for me, Rock and Stone Cold, one of my absolute favorites. Like, I got my collections back here. I got a whole Stone Cold section over there with Funko Pops, wrestling figures, and stuff. The one guy that if I ever got to meet, don't think I'd be able to get a word out. I kid you not. If I met Stone Cold, I'd just be like, holy shit, I'm actually in the same room as him.
Oh man, yeah. I would feel the same way. Feel the exact same way. Uh but I mean like I would want to ask him so much, you
Oh,
know.
oh yeah. I have a bunch of
Have
questions.
you have you seen he's got a documentary on YouTube. It's about an hour and a half long.
I've seen a few. I don't know if I've seen. I don't know if I've seen that one.
I think it came out earlier last year. Maybe.
I might have to check that one out.
You should. I
Because,
definitely recommend.
oh yeah, no, me being the Stone Cold fan I am, I'm definitely checking that out. But one thing that I remember him talking about when it came to when they finally figured out the whole Stone Cold persona was it kind of clicked. And there was like the whole lead up, from you know in the Sportatorium in Dallas to WCW, the ECW. There's some feeling out processes on what worked, what didn't. How did Country Boy Coots come about? I love hearing how people came up with what they end up having be their in-ring personas.
Well, see, my in-ring persona is myself.
That I was gonna say, I had that
Uh,
feeling.
yeah, I couldn't. I didn't want to figure up something to play as. You know what I mean? I want to go out there and be myself. Whether people want to cheer me or boo me, I'm doing what I love to do.
And
You know, and uh, actually, this past Sunday, I'm 31 matches in. I just started November 3rd of last year. I had my first match.
Oh,
I had
all
I
right.
had quit going to training for a little bit, and then I went to Tullahoma, Tennessee, to Shane Morton, and done a couple of training sessions with him, and he got me booked on his show that he books actually. So um, I'm still figuring stuff out as I go. You know what I mean? It's I mean as like as my character, which
Yeah.
is myself, but I'm learning more things about myself. Actually, I've never like been publicized
Yeah.
anywhere, and now I'm in the middle of a ring in front of 100 people, maybe sometimes if that.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
independent shows can be definitely the attendance fluctuates, but a lot of places they have their loyal fan base that unless something with like family comes up, they're gonna be there. I know
Yeah.
I'm that way. Like if a family event comes up before I make plans to go to a show, the family thing takes priority.
Right. Right.
But now going into, you brought up James Ellsworth. I like when it comes to doing this podcast. Yeah, I love getting like names that are on national TV. I've had a few, and I'm never going to pass up that, but I love being able to shine light on some new stuff that, initially maybe I wasn't as familiar with, but I get to learn about it through the guests. And this one promotion that you're actually on the poster there with James Ellsworth,
Oh
Pro
yeah,
Wrestling
PWA.
Alliance.
Yeah. Yeah, that
So,
was cool, man. That's the first time I ever met him. Uh, the when I seen him, when found out that I was going to be tag teaming with him, I thought he was going to be this goofy dude. In WWE, he portrayed as this goofy, nervous guy. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
dude, when I met him, he's cool as hell. He's like super cool. We went out there and I had a blast tag teaming with him. It was real cool.
that's awesome. I know when you know, doing my homework and looking through things for the episode, when I first saw that poster of you with him on there, I'm like, okay. Like I knew Ellsworth was still out there, on the independent scene, but I don't know. I guess maybe I hadn't heard as much about him lately.
He's actually traveling around the world, he said.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
awesome because it I like hearing about that because back in the days, like when I was like a little kid, it was almost like if you left WWE or WCW one way or another, it was almost like a death nail in your wrestling career. Like
Yeah.
you were done. But now Ellsworth out there traveling the world. I think Matt Cardona is a perfect example of this. Taking that bet and just going out there and shit. Look at him. There's a
Yeah.
reason they call him the indie god.
Yeah. Yeah. He's in NWA.
Yeah, that he is.
Yeah. Uh you know, something that I think is really cool. SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis, who
Ah,
was
yeah.
also in the NWA. I went to training one night. When I first started, I was getting there like super early, and I was trying to get him as much ring time as I could. Tom brought in Nick Aldis.
Okay.
Man, I got to roll around in the ring with him. I got it was cool. It was cool. And now he's in SmackDown.
Yep. Now he's general manager of SmackDown, and you know what? Him and Raw general manager Adam Pearce, they got a little in common.
Yeah. You know,
Both
at
for
first they were butting heads, and now they seem to be coming
yeah,
together a little bit. I I actually thought that WWE they was gonna do like this SmackDown versus Raw thing, but it seems like they're coming back together.
we'll see. But yeah, him, Nick Aldis, and Adam Pearce, they're both former NWA World's Heavyweight
Yeah,
Champions. When
yeah.
I got my start watching independent wrestling was actually when I was in the Navy in San Diego. And I got to see Adam Pearce with the 10 pounds of gold a handful of times.
Oh
So that
yeah,
was pretty cool. And seeing him now with the prominent role he has with Monday Night Raw, that's like, hey, that's cool. I got to
yeah,
see him back then and now look at him.
yeah, yeah. It's something.
And, what do you got going on besides, getting to have that match with Mr. Ellsworth,
So
when it comes to Pro Wrestling Alliance?
so Pro Wrestling Alliance, they got me in a rivalry right now with this guy they called Buzzed Up. Um, I think I'm going. I think this is our third time around this Friday. I mean, he's a real big guy, you
Yeah.
know. But I'm gonna do my best this Friday to make sure that I don't have to have another match with him. That's for sure.
Try to end that one before he gets a little too worked up and get oh yeah, because when you got the size difference there, it can, at least for the crowd aspect, it can be like, holy crap. Like, I hope he don't hurt him.
Like there's no way I'm picking this guy up. There's no way.
Yeah. Now, another promotion that I saw on your page was, sometimes my handwriting sucks and I can't even read it. But Tennessee All
IWF,
Pro.
Tennessee All Pro Wrestling. Yeah. That's on Saturday nights in Morrison, Tennessee. Um, I do them every once in a while. Uh, but they don't really have me in anything there.
Mm,
But um,
still
it's
a good
another
time.
show. It's another show I get to do. I always have fun in the ring. Uh, I try to dominate as much as I can. That's for sure. But no, I think I might take a little break from there.
Okay.
I am booked up every Friday. I'm at PWA Pro Wrestling Alliance. Um, every other Saturday, I'm either down in Rockwood, Tennessee at MSWA or Sparta, Tennessee at IWF. I don't know what the IWF stands for. And once a month on Sundays, the training facility that I trained at, they have a show called Crush Live.
Okay.
It's in Hendersonville, Tennessee. You can also there's a link. You can find me on Facebook, Country Boy Coots, and the links on there on
Okay.
my page.
Okay. Yeah, because I was curious when
You do have to pay a small price. I think it's $8.99 for the show this past Sunday, and the one
okay.
before $6.99.
Okay, so that's not terrible.
No.
Not terrible at all. Because I was curious because I know there's so many streaming platforms out there. Some people using, whatever Fight TV is now. There's IWTV. There's a handful of others. Some people using YouTube. I was curious about either one or any of those promotions having something for people that can't be there to still watch the show. And it sounds like they got something there with that.
Well,
That
see, the Crush Live. This is the second show. Uh, like I said, it's my training facility that I started out at. They're trying to, well, putting on shows once a month for now, and
giving people the reps.
yeah, we're trying to let everybody know who we are. You know, bring our characters so that way people can get to know us.
That's a good thing, because you know some places running not every month, maybe every other month, but in wrestling you're always training. You're, like you said, you just got out of the gym, so you're keeping yourself in shape, and it's something, at least for however long your wrestling career lasts, it's something you're always doing. You know,
Oh yeah,
getting in the ring, keeping in ring shape, keeping in regular shape outside of the ring,
you know,
because
I
yeah,
I don't get in the ring every day to train or anything like I should. Every once in a while, I go to Tullahoma to train. That's the first promotion I started out at, SWF, Southern Wrestling Federation.
I actually just recorded with somebody from there like 2 days ago, earlier this week.
You probably talking about Tavon Jordan.
Yep, that be him.
I hate that guy. I can't stand him. I cannot stand him. And I tell you what, let's maybe this is a message out there. Maybe he'll get it. Maybe he won't. But there will be another time in the ring that Tavon Jordan will see Country Boy Coots, and
All
he will
right,
get the ass whooping that he deserves.
you got
Just
you
throwing
got a
that out there. Just
you
throwing
got a
that out there.
receipt coming from for him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now back to what we were talking about. Uh, that's on Sundays, going to training up there at SWF. So I hardly get to do it. So most of my ring time is on the weekends, Friday or Saturday, always Friday, but during the shows.
Hmm. I mean, you're still getting in there, get rolling around in the ring. So
Oh yeah. But I highly
yeah,
recommend definitely to any new guys trying to be a wrestler, wanting to be a wrestler, if you're going to do it, get as much time in as you can.
yeah,
Because you're going to need it.
no, yeah, yeah. I've definitely seen some people that could probably use that advice. But I like to keep things lighthearted and fun here, so we won't go into too many of those people. Now, the the thing that I'm wanting to see how you feel here is the Southeast has had a very storied history, for the lack of a better way to put it, when it comes to professional wrestling. Tennessee, in and of itself, with Memphis and Jerry Lawler, to TNA got its start in Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
and
Nashville.
WCW had throughout the Southeast, and the Carolinas was the excuse me the hub was in Atlanta there for the longest time. What is it like for you, Southeast wrestling carrying on that long history that, hell, pretty much has always been around?
You know, and I'm being honest here. I don't know too much about it. All I grew up watching was WWE and
Understandable.
WWF and WCW. I would go back and watch videos, and TNA. Every once in a while, I would watch TNA. Now, every once in a while, I watch AEW. Every once in a while, I watch WWE. Um, Also, every once in a while, not often, I watch what is it, NJPW,
Oh
New
yeah,
Japan Pro Wrestling.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I used to have their New Japan World, but for the longest time, for some reason, there was some sort of an issue I don't know on what end of things where I wasn't really able to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was just like, you know what? If I'm not able to watch it, I'm just gonna be done. And I mean, now I got Pro Wrestling TV, Fight TV, IWTV. I got Peacock, so I get the WWE stuff.
Yeah.
So I've got my fair share of wrestling to be able to watch. But yeah, Southeast storied wrestling history. I know me date me a little bit, but one of my favorites from that did a lot back in that area and really all over the world was Bruiser Brody. And seeing the persona he had, coming out swinging the chain and stuff. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know as a kid, my eyes just widened because he damn near scared the crap out of me. But as I got older and I started gravitating towards those intense personas, it was like, dude, that guy is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always liked it. And then somebody that's out now that at least they used to do this in we talking about New Japan. They had something similar there with their entrance. When I'm talking about Lance Archer, the way he would come out in New Japan, like he swig the water and he throw the water ball and just like looked like he
Mm.
was scaring the crap out of some people on his way to the ring. Like very Bruiser Brody esque, if you ask me. And I loved it. Hell, I even got to meet him Lance Archer one time.
Nice.
One of my signed figures I got up behind me. All
I
right,
don't
now
have
speak.
any sign. I don't have
Oh,
any signed figures. I used to have a picture, but I don't know what happened to it. I got to meet Jay Lethal
ooh, that's a
uh
cool one.
August of 22, maybe.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, that
I
was cool.
I have not. Well, now that him and AEW, the closest they've come to me in Omaha is Kansas City, and that's about a 3-hour drive.
Mm.
So when it comes to a Wednesday night, it's like if I'm wanting to go to the show, more often than not, I'm either leaving work early or just not going in at all, just so I can be there on time. And that's only happened once. But I've been, I will go into some more about some of this stuff behind me in a little bit. But one thing I want to get into is my two categories I have. One's a bit of a name game where I name off a person and you give me first thoughts that pop into your head about them.
All right.
So, give you a name, first thoughts. First one, and you know what? Before I get into it, each of these, I try to theme it towards the guest as much as possible. So, we talked to some about Southeast Wrestling. Each of these guys is kind of made their name at one point or another in the Southeast area.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's hopefully I know him.
Well, I think it's a good chance. First one, he's been with both NWA and TNA, Impact, whatever. The Cowboy James Storm.
Oh man, I loved that dude when I would watch TNA. I hope I get to meet him uh one of these days, maybe even have a match with him or tag
That
team with him.
that
That
would be
would be
sweet.
like super cool. No, uh kinda, so with my character in ring work, I do try to base my character off of a few people. James
Yeah,
Storm is one of them, Stone Cold. Uh but I like to try to put my attitude like Stone Cold and James Storm. I try to combine them a little bit.
No, I
You know.
totally understand you there because, I've mentioned it before with a lot of different people. There's nothing wrong with emulating people you've admired when trying to put together your in-ring persona. You just want to mesh it together into your own thing.
Yeah.
So meshing James Storm and Stone Cold together, they already have their similarities, but they're noticeable differences too. And I'd say that would be one hell of an entertaining character.
Yeah.
Definitely. Next one, guy doing mostly backstage work anymore. But still when you bring up this man's name, he's definitely one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most well-respected guys out there still. The Enforcer, Arn Anderson.
I never watched too much of him, but I definitely liked him in the Four Horsemen.
Yep. And, I enjoyed, some of the stuff that he was able to do with Cody Rhodes there in AEW before.
Oh, yeah.
Before Cody left. And the one thing I'll always remember with when it comes to Arn is I swear one of the cleanest, smoothest looking spine busters you'll ever see came from him. It just looks so clean and smooth and just looks like he would damn near put you through the mat.
Mm.
And I love
I do the spine buster, and I really like doing the spine buster. It's a devastating move.
It sure
Especially
can be.
anyways when I'm doing it, because I'm trying to drive my opponent through the mat.
I made the, speaking of that, I made the joke one time about somebody needing to have the spine buster as their finisher, but somebody that's like debuting a new finisher. So then the first time they use it, they do put somebody through the mat. Like however they work it, the ring just, that part of the ring just collapses. So then you got a nickname for it right off of that. So instead of the spine buster, you call it the pine buster. Because you literally broke the wood in the ring.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Little idea I can't. Good Lord. The wrestling ideas that go running through my head are just. If I'm having a slow moment, usually I'm thinking about something about that. So.
I have ADHD like crazy. I am always thinking of stuff, but it's not always wrestling. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, but people, especially when I'm outside of the podcast, I am a little bit of a quiet person, but it's not that I'm, nervous or anything. Although, I mean, there are those times, but I'm just constantly observing stuff. Like
Yeah.
when I'm in crowds, I'm constantly looking around and observing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way I've always been.
Yeah. That's the way I am. I like to observe before I do anything.
Yep. And one thing that I put into that, which I have a question in my next category going with WrestleMania moments, but the first WrestleMania I ever got to watch as it was happening was WrestleMania 20. And one of the matches being Kane versus Undertaker. And it was shortly after Kane helped bury Undertaker alive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when Undertaker came out, there was like dirt on his pants and on his shirt. Like he had just hopped out of that damn grave.
Mm-hmm.
And was coming to kick Kane's ass. And that little bit of me observing that observing person I am noticed it and was like, oh, that a little detail that most people might not really remember or realize, but when you get to thinking about it, it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's something nice. That little detail that has that little something extra for those that like me or observing those little details. All right, next one. He is not billed from the Southeast, but when it comes to WCW and the NWA back in the day, he was definitely a highlight of it. And I figured this will come out after this particular match of his, but he's getting ready to have his last match ever. Talking about the icon Sting.
Oh man. I loved it when he came down off the ceiling with his face
Oh,
paint on, with the trench coat and the
oh
baseball
yeah,
bat.
back in
When
the
he came out, you knew somebody was getting his ass whooped.
oh yeah.
Uh, uh, I love Sting. Um, I don't watch him much in AEW. The last match I did see, um, I'm glad he can still perform and all this and that, but eh, he is an old man. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
trying to keep it as respectful as I can, and I don't really I don't really know what to say, but I'll just put it this way, as respectfully as I can. Uh, I don't think he should be wrestling anymore.
well, hell, as of recording this, we're not too far off of Revolution, and that is going to be the last match of his. So,
Well, this was like a year ago.
oh yeah, I get you there. Yeah, because good lord, some of the stuff that he's been pulling off in some of these matches that he's had there, you're thinking somebody at that age being able to pull off that stuff, like jumping off of a part of a balcony, going through a guy through a table and
Through a
stuff.
table, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
nuts.
surprised he didn't break anything.
I was gonna same here, same here. All right, last but not least for this, I definitely think if I did not mention this man when it comes to wrestling in the Southeast area, it would be a disservice. We talked a little bit about Cody Rhodes.
Uh-huh.
This time, we're going to be talking about his father, Dusty Rhodes.
The American Dream, I love that bionic elbow he did. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh
Yep.
uh. Man, the way he came out to the ring, he was just full of energy.
Oh yeah.
Baby face or heel. You know what
Oh
I mean? I mean, it was just amazing moments watching Dusty Rhodes. And now, actually, I watch matches now from like 1986, old NWA
yeah. The old
with
that.
Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Those are some classic moments. That good lord, back in those days, I don't think I've actually said how old I am, but that year that you mentioned, I was only 3 years old at the time. I was born 1983.
okay,
So yeah, I I'm older than WrestleMania.
that's
I
crazy.
I feel like when I think about it, I'm like, holy crap. All right. Like
Yeah.
my wife likes to joke with me about being old, and I'm like, God damn, I just made myself feel old. Shit.
Now you got me wondering how old you are.
40. I
Or
this July I'll turn 41.
okay,
Yeah. And the beard and stuff. Well, my head, I the haircut literally came from the last haircut at Navy boot camp. They're like, "Oh, we can take that all off for if you want." I'm like, "Shit, go ahead. I don't want to have to deal with just on the sides and nothing up top. Just take it
Yeah,
all off."
that's what I got. I just grow my beard.
Yep, that's and after I got out of the Navy, I didn't feel like shaving anymore, so that's pretty much what I did.
You was in the military,
Yep,
Navy.
Navy.
I
Yep,
was I was gonna go into the Marines
yeah, they're a whole different
last
animal.
year. I got hand tattoos, so they wasn't gonna let me in straight off, but the sergeant, he was gonna work with me to get my hands lasered, get
Mm.
see how much it would take off, see if I could get a waiver at least. And then I started having wrestling shows. So
Yeah, and hell, anyways, the Marines, that's a whole different freaking animal. They, I was stationed in San Diego where one of their boot camps is, and the USO at least at the time at the San Diego airport, you had to walk outside along the sidewalk, and then it was like off to the left or something. But they had people lined up outside close to the curb, somebody about this far in front of their faces already screaming at them, and they hadn't even left the airport. And I just remember looking at a guy sitting waiting to get a ride to the Navy bases. They're like, glad we chose Navy. Shit. Yeah. But hey,
yeah.
all I talk, you know, between branches in the military, there is that, a little bit of shit talking, but there's always that mutual respect in the end.
Uh-huh.
Now, I got some random questions. Some
All
might
right.
be wrestling related, some might not be. Some might have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far. That's why they're random.
All
So
right.
I give you the question, you give me the first answer that pops into your head.
All right.
First one, craziest in-match moment for you, or one that you were there to witness.
I don't really have one that I was there to witness. I only went to uh well, no. No, I better not say that. Uh uh in ring craziest moment, I took a frog splash and then I took a 450 frog splash.
Ooh, yeah, that
Yeah,
that yeah, one after the other. That's kind of nuts.
it was. It was right after the other.
Whew.
Um I was in I don't know if you know him. I was in a tag team match with Colton Cage against Matt Starr, and I'm pretty sure he's GCW World Heavyweight Champion Blake Christian.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I think he was in NXT maybe.
yeah. I think he
Um
was for a little bit there. Yeah.
yeah. I think he got out of the performance center not too long ago actually. But no, Matt Starr gave me the frog splash, and then Blake Christian gave me the 450.
Ooh,
Three,
boy,
yeah, 450. Yeah,
that's
yeah, that was
nuts.
painful.
I can imagine. Yeah, because people don't think of, they say, oh, that's fake, right? But it's like you take moves like that, or even simple bumps in that ring. Hell, I've done it before, at least the bumps part, and I was walking funny for about a week.
Hey, I tell you what, anybody who thinks wrestling is fake, let me give you a suplex or just let me body slam you in a mat.
Yep, you'll find out how
Yeah,
fake it is. Yeah,
and the training just to become a wrestler,
it's no
it
joke.
it didn't take me long how to figure out um bumping,
Yeah,
getting slammed. I took probably in one day, we ran this drill. We was in the corner, the turnbuckles of the ring, and we was doing high knees while holding
Mm.
on to the corner. Somebody would get in the middle, they would pull somebody out, or yeah, they would come tap you on the back. You'd have to run in, take a body slam, run back into the corner, and keep going with the high knees. I took so many body slams that night. My back was hurting.
No, I can imagine. All right, now we, as of recording this, are coming. We're already in the midst of WrestleMania season. One show in between WrestleMania and now.
Yeah.
What would, and everybody has their favorite WrestleMania matches, favorite WrestleMania moments. What would you say one of your favorite WrestleMania matches or moments?
Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 23.
Can't argue that one. Both of the matches that those two had together were classic.
Oh my gosh. I loved it. So
Oh yeah.
every once in a while, I don't know how many times I've watched that match. I still go back and watch it every once in a while.
Oh yeah. Don't blame me one bit. It was classic for sure. I know for me, the first one I ever got to watch was WrestleMania 20, and the ending of it. I know I've mentioned it before. It, I guess, being kind of taboo talking about Benoit, but that moment at the end with him and Eddie Guerrero both holding the belts and they hugged, and
Oh
knowing that journey they both had up to that point and how much that moment meant to them, enough to get you choked up, man.
yeah. Now talking about Chris Benoit, him as a wrestler, he was great.
Oh yeah,
Uh, I wish he was still around. I'd like to meet him.
that would have been something.
I
And
watched him a lot growing up.
same here. I'm a huge fan of his, and everything, the way it went down with him and his family. I just remember I was in shock for a while after that.
I think I was like 11 or 12 years old.
Yeah,
Maybe not even that. I think I was younger, maybe.
I remember I was actually working at a gas station about half an hour from my hometown when all of a sudden the news had just broken about, you know, they didn't know all the details yet, but, the news was coming out that everything had, they had been found deceased, for the lack of a better way to put it.
Yeah.
And, I just remember being like, oh my God, that's not right. And then, everything comes out later on, and you're just like, that fan aspect of everything, you're just constantly battling with yourself, trying to be like, holy crap. Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, part of you doesn't want to believe it, but then there's that part of you that's like, okay, let's just be logical about this. What other scenarios could there be that actually make sense?
Yeah.
You hold out hope, but it gets to that point where you're just like, now I mentioned some of the stuff I had behind me here. I got signed figures, Funko Pops. You can't see it up there, but growing up, it was always pro wrestling and Ninja Turtles for me.
Mm-hmm.
Up top, the vast majority of my Ninja Turtle stuff, including 2 signed Funko Pops, from one from the guy behind Splinter in the first 2 movies. And I grew up on the original cartoon. I got to meet the voice of Michelangelo, my favorite Ninja Turtle.
Nice.
And yep, I got something signed by him too. Is
Hell
just
yeah.
to this day. So, in that, my hobbies. What would you say? I know wrestling takes up a lot of time. What is a hobby you have, if any?
I don't really have a hobby.
No, nothing wrong with that because, like I said, wrestling,
I,
especially
all, all I
independence.
all I do is I work, I go to the gym, I spend time with my girl, and I wrestle. That's
Yeah, no,
literally all I do.
yeah, no, I know. For me in the podcast, it's like I work, I come home, I take care of the dogs for a bit, I record, I watch a little TV before going to bed, and then some days I have some weeks I have a recording pretty much Monday through Friday, so it's literally just wake up and do it again the next day. But
Yeah,
yeah, I have my hobbies, whenever I go around. Like my wife and I were up in Minnesota over New Year's Eve, and they actually they've started opening up Toys R Us stores,
really
and they have one in the Mall of America. And I went and I got me a Funko of their giraffe mascot.
nice.
Like I saw that, I'm like, I have to have that. And then you can't see it. It's kind of behind the camera off this way, but I like collecting autograph memorabilia. You know, not that's already signed. I like the story of seeing them sign it.
Yeah,
But I went to a show for one of my favorite country music musicians, Dierks Bentley.
I like
And
Dirk. Phillips.
oh yeah. And I wanted to see how close I could get. I got like in the pit like two people in front of me. And at one point he yelled out about where his beer drinkers were at, and I woo! And before I know it, he's pointing at me, and I'm like, no, he ain't pointing at me. He pointing at somebody behind me. But no, before I knew it, he was helping a security guy get me over the barricade. And in between songs, we shotgunned a beer on stage.
Nice.
And towards the end of the show, he pointed back at me, takes a guitar that one of his band was playing, motions for something to write with, walks over and hands me the guitar. I got it hanging on the wall back there.
Hell yeah.
And the shotgunning the beer, I still got the can. Hole in the can and everything for proof.
Hell yeah. He's not my all-time favorite, but he's my favorite country rap rock singer for like the past 3 or 4 years now. Ryan Upchurch.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
Um, I use his song "Simple Man"
Okay.
as my
Okay.
theme music. I
Okay.
like. I haven't been to one of his concerts, but I'd like to go and meet him. I actually have a question for him. I want to ask him see if he'll do a song for me,
That would
so
be
I could
sweet.
come out to it uh, during my shows.
That would be pretty sweet.
That would be cool.
I know one of my other favorites that I actually got to meet him, and the story behind it is kind of wild. But Luke Combs, my
Okay.
wife and I have been to now 10 concerts of his. We've been in the pit a handful of times, and not too long ago he was playing down at Arrowhead in Kansas City, and my wife and I had both applied to possibly get the VIP meet and greets. Well, my wife found out we won, so we got to do that. We got to meet him, and that was something else.
Oh,
because
hell yeah.
I bring him up because you mentioned, using a song from Upchurch as your music. If I ever got to actually be a guest at a guest ring announcer, guest commentator at a show, and actually get my own entrance for, when they introduce me, it would be one of a couple songs of his. Beer Never Broke My Heart, because I've been a fan of that song since before he even put it on an album, when he
Yeah.
was only
Uh,
doing it at concerts.
mm-hmm.
And then there's oh damn, what was it? South on Ya and Any Given Friday Night. One of
Yeah.
those three would be ones that I'm like, every time I hear them, I just imagine myself that would be what I would use.
Hell yeah.
I think it would fit. All right. Now, with the name of a show like I have, I would feel weird if I did not have this question in here. Favorite drink, whether it be alcoholic or non, or one of each, because I've had plenty of people on that, like CM Punk or Straight Edge, or they've battled addictions and they just can't drink anymore. So I try to be respectful of that. So I, put
Yeah.
that. I tell people, just because it says drinking at Moe's doesn't mean that it has to be alcoholic. Although, I do enjoy me a beer from time to time.
That's all right. I do drink. I got a thing of Jack at the house, but that's not my favorite. So my go-to beer is Corona.
Okay.
I used to drink the Corona Extras, but I really like the Corona Premiers. Um, Now my liquor, Crown Royal, apple
Ooh,
all the way.
that's a good one.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Me, I'm I'm definitely a whiskey tequila guy, because there's like the one Terramana, the one The Rock owns. That's a damn good tequila. I know there's fancier ones out there that are better. Yeah, I've had a few of them, but for the price that you get it at, it's smooth as hell. You put that in a margarita, you're gonna have to be careful because you drink too damn many of them. There's a reason that whole 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila floor thing came up. It came up for that.
Well, see, when I drink my liquor, I like drinking it straight. I don't even like drinking it with a chaser. So I
No,
can put down some liquor though.
I've always been more of a beer guy. I can definitely throw down with beer.
Well,
I
I
have a
can
real
too.
Yeah, hell, I've outdrank British Navy, and they can drink.
Well, I probably wouldn't be able to do that. So you you
we
could
were
probably outdrink me.
we were in Bahrain, and some British Navy were there at the time, and me and them were going pitcher for pitcher at the bar.
Huh.
It was fun.
You ever come to Tennessee?
It's been a while, but I've been through.
You ever been down Broadway in Nashville?
Yep.
Oh man, I've been down there a handful of times. Uh, I love it. I like going down there.
Yeah,
Uh,
my wife wants to go down. I don't think she's ever been, and the only time I've been, I only had like a couple days there. I'd like to go there for a little bit longer.
yeah,
I feel like there was so much that I could have enjoyed that I didn't get to with the time crunch that I had.
right.
Anyways, we kind of talked a little bit about this earlier, but last but not least for this random questions, what is the best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling?
Do it. If you want to do it, and don't stop. Even when you start doing shows, don't stop. Take in as much as you can. Anytime that you get a veteran in the locker room, pick his brain, talk
Mm-hmm.
to him, get as much information from him as you can. Ask him if he's seen your match. Ask him uh if he's not doing anything, if he doesn't mind to watch your match. Uh, I mean, in the locker room, you'll get advice from everybody. Take it in,
Yeah.
but always, no matter what, take in all the advice, suggestions from a vet.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Very good advice, because wrestling is an ever evolving process. You're always learning. You're never not learning something new. And when you get somebody, a vet, or especially hell, if somebody coming through that's been, on the national TV scales, getting to sit under the learning tree of them for a little bit. And nothing saying that you have to do everything they tell you, but kind of like what we talked about earlier, taking what they're telling you and kind of meshing it into how it works for you. And then boom, you're still listening to their advice. You
Yeah,
just meshed it into how it worked for you.
exactly. Exactly. Just like when you watch these other wrestlers, new or old, whichever you prefer, um, doing their moves, training, you want to do it your way,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh yeah. No, that whole
I don't
thing
I
of
don't I don't know where I was trying to go with that point. So like
no, I get it. I believe I get it, because there's nothing wrong with using a move that somebody else did. I mean, albeit you kind of want to be respectful of it if it was like their finisher, and being like, hey, I got this. If you know how to get a hold of them, you're like,
Mhm.
hey, I got this idea to use this, and is it cool that I do it? Showing that respect for those that came before you, because I've lost count of how many times I've heard people talking about, oh, them stealing this or stealing that. And it's like, well, if you got that knowledge behind you that, hey, I actually went to that person that they said I was good, so shut up.
Probably every move that you can think of is stolen. It
But
has already
in,
been
in,
used.
mm-hmm.
It's just a different name.
Yeah, most definitely. Hell, I've been lucky enough to, I didn't realize it was a bucket list item for me on the podcast at the time, but I've literally had somebody on that's actually invented a move. The Spanish Fly, the
Spanish fly.
SATs, the Maximo brothers up in New York. I've had them on. It's been a while since I've talked to them, but I talk to them periodically. But yeah, they invented a few other moves, and good lord, the amount of times you see people doing Spanish flies all over the place.
Yeah.
Sometimes they look a little sloppy, and then other times I'll literally go on to Twitter and tweet them like a short little clip of that, and like, I think y'all would be proud of this one. It's always funny for me thinking back that it's like, wow, I can
There's
actually say that I've talked with somebody that has literally invented a move in wrestling that is just used all over the place now.
yeah, yeah, almost anybody that can that is that flexible, I guess I'd say, or that different level of athleticism, uh, they all do it.
Yeah. No, everybody takes little bits from everybody.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I can tell my dogs are starting to get a little hungry, so I better go get taken care of them. But before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on Country Boy Coots, they can go ahead and get them there.
You can find me on Instagram. It's the Redneck Country Boy Coots. That's my profile name, and then Facebook Country Boy Coots.
Definitely. We'll get all that in the description. Anyways, that is about all I have. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me tonight. And best of luck out there with everything you got going on this year and beyond that.
Yeah, man, I'm booked up all the way till September right now. So
That's
uh
awesome. That is
yeah.
awesome.
Every
That
every Friday night though, I'm in Gladeville, Tennessee. It's got a Lebanon, Tennessee address, but I'm there every Friday night. So
that's awesome. That is awesome. I'm happy to hear you're getting out there and being able to have that sort of a schedule and getting used like that. That is
I'm
awesome.
trying. I'm doing my best, you know what I mean?
That's
But
all anybody
hey,
that's all anybody can.
let shoot me a
Oh,
message sometime you're down in Nashville. I'll come have a beer with you.
hell yeah. Hell yeah. One of these times that whenever I can get that managed to get down there, hell yeah. We'll
Yeah.
definitely do that.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, I better get going. Have a good rest of your night.
Yes, sir.